a cedar tree here. This is an emerald cedar, Thuja occidentalis smarged, which means emerald in Dutch, I believe. And we've got two things going on here. We've got a double trunk, okay, and we have a very tall plant with a lot of fluffy growth. Now, normally in the fall, I would shear this to take off the fluffy bits. But it occurs to me that with this double trunk thing going on, and with so much stem length, so it's a great big lever, that we might be wise to take this down a notch. So we're going to do a couple of things here. One is that we're going to take some of the weight off the top of this guy. There's a double trunk here as well. If there's something you don't want cut, don't put it in front of the saw, like your hand. Okay. We'll get back to that in a second. This guy here has a double leader as well, or a co-dominant leader. And there's some kind of fluffy stuff here. Now what happens when plants get too large? Generally speaking, we just cut the top off them when cedars get too large. And so you end up with a big dead spot on top forever. But what we're going to do is we're going to come down a fair bit, and we're going to cut the top out of this tree, which normally is a bad thing to do, but we're getting to the point where the tree's not going to be self-sustaining if we don't help it out. We wouldn't have to help it out in the wild. Bear with me. Getting the right angle is extremely important. And I'm also trying not to damage any of the other branches that are around it, because they're very valuable to me right now. Okay, so it doesn't look completely mangled already, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these top branches and I'm going to weave them together. I'm going to braid them together. And that's going to take the ugly dead bits out of it. You can do that with a cedar hedge that's grown into your driveway. You can take two long bits, pull them together, and braid them together, and they'll stay that way. And then you can take other long bits and weave them in behind that. And you can downsize a cedar hedge by 2 feet if you do that right. You just have to leave the long fluffy stuff so that you can pull it in and braid it. Now I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at what I just did with this guy, and there's a couple of options. I could actually just braid these two branches together, or I could take this, so one branch from one side of the tree, one branch from another side of the tree. That'll hold now, and basically forevermore tie these two together so they will become one entity. Or I could take this guy down further as well. But I kind of think I don't want to do that. So I've reduced the height of this by a good 3 or 4 feet. There we go. Now I've got it down to 1 liter here. So I've reduced the height by 3 or 4 feet, and it doesn't look like it was mangled because we took those branches that were here and braided them together. So, little thing about how I prune and downsize cedars.